Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Programmatic Connect Digital. We've invited Saras Panigrahi, Growth and Marketing Manager of Zynga India, to share her insights and experiences on marketing a mobile game to cater to a global audience. Let's get comfortable and listen in to the insightful discussion.
Hello, everybody. My name is Pompika. I am the Senior Account Executive representing Arki. So today we have Saras with us. Saras is managing the growth and marketing for Zynga Games. Hi, Saras.
Hi, Bombika.
Saras, do you like to introduce yourself and about the company?
Sure. So I'm Saraswati Panigrahi. I work as a user acquisition manager at Zynga, running different mobile user acquisition strategies and growth for some of the Zynga titles, and also overseeing the spends across different partner channels. And for those who do not know, Zynga is basically an American based social game developer founded in 2007 and headquartered in San Francisco, California. So we primarily focus on mobile and social networking platforms with our mission as connecting the world through games.
Thank you, Saras. So today we are at the Programmatic Connect Digital, and our topic for today is Global Growth Strategy for Gaming Apps. So here we start our session. My first question to you, Saras, is what is the biggest trends and challenges in the mobile marketing today?
Programmatic marketing, as we have seen in the past few years, has a tremendous growth because of the AI-driven and the machine learning technologies involved in it. So, with marketers connecting the dots between audience segmentation, targeting, and campaign optimization, programmatic advertising users use amounts of data in order to show the right ad to the right user at the right point of time on the right device through AI powered technologies, which means the targeting is more user centric than app or site centric. These are some of the trends of programmatic advertising, as we know, and some of the challenges. What I would say is, I think viewability is really important in any mobile advertising. The reason being, the in programmatic advertising, the buying methodology is per impressions. So advertisers would like to pay to those impressions which are viewed by humans than just the served impressions. Hence, it's of primary importance that the programmatic networks will strive towards 100% viewability. And the second thing which comes into my mind is impression fraud. As we know, the billing is based on impressions. So most of the publishers, they falsify the impressions and inflating it with the actual impressions. Because of which advertisers, when they pay on impressions, the cost to the advertiser goes up, hence resulting in higher cost of user acquisition for the advertisers. I think these are some of the challenges that needs to be worked upon. But I think nowadays, given the amount of technologies in place, most of the programmatic networks are integrated with a lot of fraud detection tools, and they have a lot of other metrics in place in order to fight these challenges. So I think that's already been taken care of.
Thank you, Saras. I totally agree with you. The AI enabled advertising is today the best way to reach the consumers. So, as we all know, that mobile programmatic is an ever evolving industry. So, what is something that Zynga India team would like to know more and eventually implement?
I think as we discussed, so mobile programmatic is growing towards rich user experience and ad personalization through the same artificial intelligence driven technologies. So, what would be more important to any advertiser or to know more about if an advertiser works with a certain network is data transparency. So, transparency plays a vital role in understanding, how exactly the network or where it is buying the inventory and which attributes are doing well, which creative variants are being used, where the creatives have been shown, and how are they placed. So visibility into these metrics gives a better understanding to the advertisers in terms of the top publisher ad placements and which are the top performing creatives. So transparency plays a vital role for the advertiser for better campaign optimization, and also it'll be easier for the marketers to invest more in the networks which are being transparent.
True, Saras. Transparency really plays a very big role between the advertisers and the platform. So, I would like to know what do you think is the biggest misconception about the mobile advertising industry?
I think the one of the misconceptions which I feel today the marketers go with is completely relying on new user acquisition to grow their business. In order to build a revenue generating business model, it's important for the app marketers to have users who engage with the app and spend money in the app. So these are the users who generate LTV for the app, which is generally higher than the new user acquisition cost. Okay, so in this manner, it's really important once the users are acquired, it's really important for the marketers to engage these set of users through running mobile app engagement ads and running push notifications, email campaigns, and also running a retargeting campaigns in order to keep the user base engaged to the app. I think these are some of the misconceptions, is what I feel. And once a user is acquired, it's really important to keep the user engaged with the app.
I totally agree, Saras. Apart from user acquisition, the advertisers should also focus on retargeting, and also in-app activities are very important to like get the loyal users.
As you mentioned, right, about in-app activity. So the app marketers would be able to communicate with the users based on their app behavior, like when the user has initiated a payment, how many levels did they complete. So communicating with the users based on that in-app behavior plays a vital role in order to engage and increase the retention rate of these users.
Thank you, Saras. Saras, we'd like to know the key strategies that Zynga India team have before starting a campaign.
There are several key metrics we have in place before we get started with any new campaign. So the first thing which comes into my mind is understanding the markets, right? So first of all, understanding the markets, and I would say, defining the KPIs, right? KPIs like tracking the app opens, custom consumer retentions, consumer LTVs, where, when, and why the user drops off. Some of these tracking some of these important metrics. And the second thing I would say is creatives, like working a bit on the creatives, like having different creative concepts, localized creatives with different dimensions, which suits different ad placements, and budget allocation based on different geos. So these are some of the key metrics that are involved. And also, before we launch a new campaign with a new partner, it's important to understand and take learnings from the historical data, in understanding and getting a better view of how the campaign would be, how the content would be consumed in a specific market.
Thank you, Saras. I think learning the historic data gives us an idea of how to spend and where to spend about the campaign. So, we'd like to know the main strategy of your campaign that you would say that help your app to grow and become successful.
I would say marketing the experience than just the app is one of the important things, is what I feel. The reason being, so when in the past, when the companies used to come up with the app, they just used to market the app so that the consumers can have the app on their device, right? And this is no longer acceptable nowadays, because marketers are not selling the apps, rather they're selling the experience of the app to the users. Hence, it's really important to market the experience of the app and how that specific app is uniquely different from any other app which is there in the market. So this would be the first thing. And the second thing which comes into my mind is downloads always do not denote the success of a campaign. So an app can have millions of downloads, which is certainly important. Because the better the downloads, the better the app rankings on the Play Store, and the better visibility and the brand awareness it will have. But we also need to understand that beyond the organic user, there is a certain chunk of users who are the more valuable and the most valuable users. These users are called the loyal users. So as I mentioned, like downloads can be certainly important, but the app developers would have invested and spent a lot of time in improving the functionality of the app and in improving the experience of the app, right? So these loyal users are the ones who will be going to use the all the app features, and loyal users are the ones who are going to convert the download to revenue and to positive ROI. So, in any app marketing campaign, if an app is unable to acquire the loyal users, which means that there is something major problem with the functionality of the app which needs to be fixed in order to see the organic upliftment. And at the end of the day, I would say loyal users are the ones who decide the future of the app.
True, Saras. Thank you so much for the answer. So my next question is, as we all know, the Zynga is present globally. So we'd like to know some tips from you for reaching the global market.
App marketing strategies differ for different markets. The first thing I would say is understanding the audience in these markets. If I take an example of a casual or a slots game, so this content wouldn't be consumed in the same way if we compare an European market versus an Asian market. So understanding the audience before we open up the campaigns to global markets is really important in terms of the content consumption in those markets. And the second thing would be app store optimization and creative optimization. So showing the content which is localized with respect to that country's language plays a major role. So when a user in France, if he clicks on the ad which is customized and tailored just for him in their language, and again to the app store, which is again localized and customized, it plays a significant role in helping the user to understand the content and before installing the app. And so this would be the second main thing. And the third thing I would say would be defining different KPIs for different markets. So, like the in app behavior or in app purchases or ad monetization wouldn't be the same if we consider a tier 1 market versus a tier 3 market. Hence, it's really important to define different KPIs for different geos in order to achieve in those geos.
True, Saras. Localization is absolutely necessary to perform in various parts of the world. So talking about the creatives, I just want to know what is the effectiveness of personalized creative for your campaign?
I would say perfect advertising starts with ad personalization. Getting the right message to the user is as important as showing the right ad on the at the right point of time on the right device. So I would say it's really important to personalized creatives generally drive high amount of revenues as compared with normal creatives. How to go about this is basically target a audience segment, choose an attribute to personalize the content, and then go about running the campaigns. So, in this way, the campaign would be successful, and the ad personalization would plays a vital role.
Thank you so much, Saras. Thank you for giving us so much insight on your strategy and about your thoughts on creatives. So now it's time for some fun questions. So, my first question is, what is the most catchiest ad you have ever seen?
A catchier stat. So I would say, there was a time when Maggie got banned in India. So at that time, Maggie came up with a really innovative and creative ad in order to keep their users engaged. It came up with a mobile ad campaign with a statement, with a message to the audience: "We miss you too," which means Maggie misses its audience too. So that rolled out across all the platforms, and a lot of love shared, and a lot of love came pouring in. I'm sure it would have worked wonders for the brand. And I think what Maggie has done in these kind of ads is basically it has brought back the memories to the audience, giving it a reminiscing experience, in terms of how Maggie used to be and how is it now, and it still misses its audience in terms of the consumption of that food product. And also Maggie played a significant role in giving a nostalgic touch to this ad campaign, which is quite relevant to that context.
True, Saras. I too remember that ad. It emotionally connected us all.
Yeah, I remember, like, they came up with multiple ads in the same sequence at the same point of time.
Yeah.
Though though it was banned, but still ensured that it kept its users engaged with different ads. So that's how you care about your customers.
True, Saras. So, next question is, what is the best piece of advice you have ever been given?
I would say the best piece of advice I've ever got is, believing in yourself. So everyone has some or the other inner potential for you to excel in the career. So one should believe in oneself first in order to excel well. So there was a saying, right? So the way you treat yourself is the way you see yourself, and the way you see yourself is what you become, right? So I think believing in oneself is one of the most important things.
Thank you so much, Saras. Thanks for your time. Thank you, audience, for watching us. Please stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Arki team, for having me here.
Thanks for tuning in on this episode of Programmatic Connect Digital. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.